thank you to the community for 76% vote on the swimming pool. We are now moving into the second phase, which is going to be getting the fundraising, the other 1.2 million. And one of the things that the thought process goes through here, and I kind of wanted to get the council feeling on it, is that as the pool committee goes through and does their fundraising, there are people that have already committed money to different projects, a lot of the school projects, and so some thought is that if someone is giving a significant donation, that they probably have already done that for another project too, and might be more inclined to donate at this point if we would offer like a 5-year donation pay as opposed to 3, kind of setting a minimum maybe for that 5-year, so that I guess that's what I was wondering if council members would. I know we talked earlier about 3 years, but now that we're into the fundraising part of the pool project, would the council members be willing to allow significant donors to use 5 years instead of 3 years? I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe something like $25,000 minimum or something like that. Could have 5 years to pay it, anything 25 and above. Throwing that out there because they are starting the fundraising now and kind of need some kind of guidance from.
Do the banks have to do some kind of approval on that as far as putting it out that many years or anything?
Yes, the bank would clearly have to agree that they're willing to fund us for those additional 2 years. I did meet with 3 of the banks locally, and they were very willing and interested in participating in helping us with that pledge. We're just waiting to see what, where do we get to and how much are we looking for. But yes, they are open to working with us. I have not asked them about the 5 years. I have asked them about the 3.
That's not an uncommon. Hospital projects have done 5 years. School, I think, has had some 5 years, so it's not an uncommon. Gives people a little bit of time to readjust. Most people can't write a check for that kind of money yesterday.
I was part of the finance committee, part of those discussions, and I don't really have much more to add than what Bob has just said, but I see the logic and support extending to 5 years. Obviously, you don't want to do it. We can't really do it for every donation, but we probably spend as much time on anything trying to think about an amount, and 25 is where we ended up.
Anybody else have any comments?
I guess the only concern I've got is if we're giving that option to the larger donor, why aren't we giving it to the smaller donor who might want to extend that period out, regardless of if they're giving a couple $1,000s and extending it out over a period of time, longer than the 3. What's good for one should be good for the other.
Will it entice the smaller donors to be a larger donor?
Possibly.
Then again, banks would have to sign off on that or agree to that, would they not? Because they would be keeping the records and.
They're the ultimate. Well, no, we're the ultimate guarantor on this. I mean, if they're funding, they're putting the cash up front in order to get the project going. But we're the ones. The city will be the ones that end up having to pay for it if that vendor or that donor fails. It's not the bank. It's not the bank. We have to reimburse them.
Right. I don't want to speak for the banks. They haven't said yes or no to 5 years instead of 3. I don't know what their feeling is, but as far as covering the pledges for that extra 2 years, clearly we need to visit with the bank about that and ask them how they feel about it. It does open up the doors for larger donations, and there have been a lot of things going on in the community. I don't know that it would be a horrible thing. There's pros and cons to it, so I think you want to be careful of that. I do agree that I think the larger donors are the ones that you want to open that up to more than the smaller donors, because they're the ones that are, from my experience, giving the most to multiple projects around the community. That's also the lion's share of what you're going to be getting for money is probably coming from 20 or 30 people or businesses, if you will. And then there's a bunch of smaller donors that are important, and we need them all. But the larger donors are the ones that I think are going to have the biggest pinch on that.
Is this again something the Aquatic Center Committee, the Citizens Committee is working on as far as the fundraising?
Yes.
Along with Burbach?
Yes, they have
His directions.
they do have a fundraising committee that's established, a capital campaign committee. It's not necessarily the Aquatic Center or Pool Committee. It is a capital campaign committee.
Okay.
I go along with John's idea. I think the smaller one should be afforded that too, because it's just as hard for a smaller one to give a amount as is a larger one. The guy that can give 25,000 might be able to do it and write one check. The guy that gives 1,000 may take him 5 years to do it, but we need the $1,000 donations too, I think. So I think 5 years for anybody would be my feeling.
Do we know who's on the capital campaign committee at all? Are you aware of anybody? Do they need any more volunteers, like if any of the city council members volunteer to be on that committee?
I'm not sure
wouldn't
we
be a good
can, I'm
idea.
not sure we can.
That wouldn't be a good idea. City councilman coming asking for money. No.
I'm just trying to volunteer
Not a
you
good
guys.
idea.